Well, let's get started. Welcome to the first reconnection call for Finding Our Way of 2020. And it's a slightly different call, I guess, this year because of this time, because as you can see, it's just me, Robin Peel, here today. Lee is currently in Paris and can't join us live, but has sent a wonderful meditation and connection and reflection that I will be playing for you shortly that allows us all to start the year really grounded, which I'm really looking forward to. So thank you again for joining us. The reconnection call is something that Lee and I came up with for Finding Our Way as a place and a reminder that each month we can come back to ourselves and really reconnect and make time for who we are and what's important to us. And time for some self-care and self-compassion within that. So thank you for making the time for yourself at the beginning of 2020, beginning of a new year, beginning of a new decade, quite, so I say momentous, but actually it's just day by day life changes. So it's that balance again of something new and exciting and actually just the same as the day before. So I hope that you have made a good space for you. One of the things we really talk about is making a space for ourselves. So I'll just show you, I've got my spare bedroom where I always have my connection calls. I have my candle lit, I have my glass of water with some lemon and some mint in it, and I have our cards that we'll do later, and I have my lovely snake plant there. And so please do make time to find space for you that you can really relax and connect to yourself. This is really important. It's not about doing this while running around and doing 5 other things at the same time and half listening. This is actually making time and space for you to come back to yourself. So hopefully you've got either a nice cup of tea or coffee or a nice blanket and you're really making time for you. Now, our focus this month is on finding your spark, which for me is around finding the energy, finding the things that give you more energy than potentially take from you, how you get enough energy in your life to go and create the things that you really want to create. And I'm loving the meditation and the breathing that Lee has recorded for us that I'll be sharing very shortly, because it's from a really grounded place. Usually Robin here is all spark and action and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm really loving that Lee's actually going to make us come back to ourselves, really start this year connected, and then we can talk about that spark within and how we can be doing that more ourselves, to look after ourselves and helping others and making sure we have that energy. So I am just going to hope this is all going to work. I've got a lovely recording from Lee. I'm going to play that, and hopefully at the same time, so you don't just have to look at me if you're doing this recording, sitting here in meditation with you. I'm going to see if I can have a slideshow going on at the same time. So we'll see how this is going, and I'm going to find the meditation from Lee and hand you over.
So a very good evening to everybody who's joining the call this evening. I'm very, very happy to be sending you a little message, and I wanted to guide a short meditation. At the moment, I'm in Paris. I've been receiving some wonderful teachings, some meditation teachings from one of my meditation masters from Nepal. And it's been just a very inspiring time to listen to teachings that are really meaningful and that are also very, very potent at this time of the year, in the beginning of the year, when many of us are setting positive intentions or some plans and goals to take forward into the future. And I wanted us to just take a few moments to reflect, to sit down and just get very, very comfortable. So I invite you to make yourself very comfortable if you've got a cushion under your bum. And we're going to start off with just a few breaths. We're going to breathe in and imagine that we're breathing in really from the root of your whole being, just really taking in a very, very deep, nourishing and purifying breath, breathing in and breathing out through the mouth. Really releasing all of the stale energy in the body and in the mind. There's probably been a lot of excitement over this Christmas season and the New Year's going into a new decade. So really imagining all of this old, stale energy that's in the body. If there's any kind of tension or if we've been indulgent over the festive season, just imagine breathing in and breathing out. and really not being shy to kind of exhale in quite a strong way. Sometimes it's a very powerful feeling just to breathe in and then really release and unburden the whole body physically, but also imagine that you're unburdening the mind, just any kind of old thoughts or stale thoughts, just, playing with this concept of letting go of everything that doesn't serve us. So breathing in and breathing out. We're going to do that a few more breaths just so that you can become quite comfortable in this technique. It's such a simple technique, but it's something that you can apply at any time, especially when you're holding a lot of tension in the body and in the shoulders. So taking a moment before we're doing that again, just to really focus on what you want to release and really feeling physically in the body that you're really letting go of any kind of tension, any kind of stiffness, any kind of tightness, anything that just doesn't serve you and that you want to let go of, that you want to really truly unburden yourself with. The breath is such a powerful tool to do that. So breathing in and breathing out. I'm going to do that another 3 times. Breathing in and breathing out. And breathing in and breathing out. And doing that a little bit slower this time. Breathing in, we're going to hold for just 2 counts and breathing out. So breathing in and breathing out. And the last really deep and nourishing breath, you're going to imagine when you're breathing in, that you're really breathing in something that is pure. You can visualize it in the form of light or in this form of sunshine, if that helps. Just breathing that in, taking that in, and then filling the whole body with light and breathing out any kind of darkness or any kind of staleness, stagnancy that's remaining in the body. So breathing in sunshine, letting it fill the whole body and breathing out. We're just going to come back to the natural rhythm of the breath. Just paying attention to the rise and fall of the breath. Being very conscious and aware of any sensation in the body. Just trying to still the mind, not in a forceful way, but in a calm and a peaceful way. Just relaxing, feeling at ease. If there's any kind of discomfort in the body, moving that slightly, relaxing the shoulders. If you need to adjust the shoulders a little bit or move them, crunch them up and relax them down. Whatever works for you to release some tension. And the lower back, sending some energy to the lower back. Just sort of nurturing that lower back area where we often do hold a lot of tension in the buttocks. Just really consciously relaxing the whole body. Just allowing the body to rise and fall naturally. We're going to take a moment just placing your hand, whichever hand it is, left or right hand, placing that on your heart. Just checking in with yourself. Just to see where you are, how you're feeling. Maybe there's been a lot of tension, or maybe there's been a lot of elation, whatever kind of emotions you've been having. Just taking a moment to check in with yourself, where you are, how you're feeling. Just coming home to yourself for a moment and finding some rest and some stillness in that space. And then when you're ready, Placing your hands back on your knees or in your lap, whatever's comfortable. And we're going to do a meditation today that's a kind of an analytical meditation or a contemplation. Just especially at the beginning of this year, and especially that this session today is all about sparking some change or getting some action going, especially if you've set out some new resolutions or some intentions for what you'd like to bring to fruition this year, and also in your life in general, just some goals that you've set for yourself. But even before really thinking about any of those things, just taking a moment to check the intention of where you're at and why these changes or these things, these new actions that you'd like to take this year are important to you. What is the real motivation behind that? Probably for most of us, there's a wish for happiness. There's a real wish for some kind of fulfillment. Perhaps there's a sense of needing to achieve or accomplish things. And maybe there's also a greater purpose of bringing some joy to others or serving others in a way that's meaningful and purposeful. I'd like you to take a moment just to think about the preciousness of this life, of this human life, that we have all of our faculties, that you've been blessed with so much good fortune to even be alive. That there's an immense freedom that comes with being alive, with having a good life, a good education, possibilities and opportunities to be able to do things, to even be able to connect to this call that many people out there would not even have the inclination to even connect to something that can nourish and nurture themselves, but also to have the gift of hearing and sight, all of our faculties that we take for granted so often. So just taking a moment to rejoice and with some gratitude in the heart. So just that sense of real appreciation for this very fortunate, precious human life. It's so easy to get upset about little things or gripe and moan about things that don't always go our way. Just really thinking about the possibilities that we have to be able to impact change, to affect change, and to be able to inspire others, to be able to support others, to be able to look after oneself, the opportunity to practice some self-care and self-compassion, but also just the opportunity to use one's mind in a very powerful way if we so choose to. Just taking a moment to reflect on that and really letting that sink in for a moment. Even the gift of being able to breathe easily, not being ill in hospital, or all of these things, that there are so many others very, very really and very truly suffering. And we have the opportunity to be alive and relatively well. And then taking that a little bit further and just thinking about how precious it is to have the gift of time, and reflecting for a moment on how we would like to use our time. time spent in meaningful ways, time used for relaxing, but also not just wasted. That real sense of balance. Just reflecting on that for a moment and very consciously putting that intention out there of how we would best use our time, how we can use our time to take care of ourselves, take care of our loved ones, and even take care of strangers. A real sense of being attentive to what's going on around us. And also that attentiveness of being aware of what's going on in our own hearts and minds. Very mentally, consciously reminding ourselves to be alert and aware of what's happening in our own hearts and minds, but also being sensitive to what might be happening in others around us minds. I'm going to do a very short, just a reflection. If you're starting at your heart center, just feeling a warmth and a glow at the heart center. And giving some love and attention to the heart, to really nourishing and nurturing our own hearts, to giving that some energy and some care for our own hearts to thrive and to feel content, to feel some love for ourselves, some appreciation for ourselves, for all the gifts that we have and all the skills that we have, all the compassion that we have naturally arising in our own hearts. And then imagining that that starts to radiate out through the whole heart, out, spreading out beyond the body, out into the space around us, just sending that loving kindness out around us into maybe our own homes, if we have pets or loved ones, family or friends, out into where we live in our building or in our town, in our neighborhood, spreading that out into the country. Even when it's difficult and we might encounter strangers or people who we don't necessarily agree with, spreading that loving kindness and compassion and care out to everyone, as if we're spreading that out to the ones that are easy to love. Just reflecting on that everybody really wants some contentment. Everybody wants to be happy. So spreading out that love further and further out into our countries, into the rest of the world, to the whole universe. Just really radiating that kind of love and compassion for all who cross our paths. And even if that's not easy, perhaps then making that a part of our practice to just acknowledge and be kind to ourselves and kind to others. So then just coming back into the space, just taking a moment really to reflect on the preciousness of this life, and with whatever actions we decide to take forward into the rest of our year, maybe into the rest of today, this week, but also setting that intention for the rest of our lives to bring these moments of appreciation and reflection, making a conscious effort to appreciate and to really cherish this very precious human life, and really to use it in the best and most meaningful way we can, because things can change at any moment and life is short. So who knows what tomorrow brings. So I thank you very much and send you a lot of love and care and compassion from Paris. And I hope that you enjoy the rest of the session with lovely Robin. And sending you all my very best wishes for this new decade. May you always be happy and well.
Wow, thank you, Lee. That was said wonderful and grounding, and a really nice place to start thinking about the coming year. And again, in that a space of finding your spark, but understanding why we're finding our spark. So, what is it about our lives that we want to bring more of? How do we energize ourselves to be able to do that more, I guess? And for me, the finding the spark is maybe as a reflection of just that wonderful meditation and reflection we've done with Lee, is around the continued energy to be able to do and be in the world as you want to be. It's not kind of necessarily the firecracker and then the do nothing and then the firecracker and then the do nothing. It's the igniting of that flame, but also keeping that flame alive. So it's finding that spark, but then also keeping that going, because as women, we often give a lot to other people, and we don't always look after ourselves, and so it's making sure that we nurture that flame within us. And so I think there is something for me about the activities or the people that give you energy, so give more than they take, I guess, because there are some things that may be igniting. You may get real, like at the starting of the flame, but actually over long term peters you out because they don't sustain you, either the activities or the people. So I think it's something for me about really being reflective about what is it that gives you that sustained energy, so it doesn't just ignite but actually keeps you going. And for me, there are definitely a few things that I are very important. One is definitely time outside. I get fueled and my heart feels full and fueled with being outside in nature. I'm very fortunate. I live in the mountains here in Canada, so there's nature's abounds around me, and even just being in my garden, I kind of be able to see mountains from my garden as I'm out there. Sleep is also a really important one for me, about making sure that I'm actually caring for myself. So actually finding my spark is around making sure I get my 8 to 9 hours a night, because I definitely don't fire on all cylinders without that sleep. Interesting and thought-provoking conversations. A real connection is vital for me too, that not just how you pass in the day, but actually kind of things that challenge my thought process, things that challenge me, conversations that fuel me. Again, it's that fuel and energy again, isn't it? That's really important to me for my spark and my energy. And feeling of use, helping others is a vital thing. But I think it's really important to know that that's got to be helping others that gives me something in return, not just helping others with no reciprocal arrangement, I guess. It doesn't have to be that they have to give back to me, but by giving, I get something in return, the fuel. I feel like I've done something well, and it's not just a one-way sapping relationship. And for me, I'd love to kind of like for you to have a bit of reflection. Actually, this is not all about me. This is definitely about you and your time and your reconnection time. So I'd love if you just close our eyes for a few minutes, maybe even listen and just take a breath and think about, for you, what are the things that energize you, that spark you, that sustain you? When does your heart feel full? When are you really in your body rather than just in your head and your thoughts? When are you embodying that energy and that fire and that spark? And how can you give that spark to others? How, when you find your own spark, are you able to give in return to pass that on to other people, so that they too are energized and can go out and, continue the flame circle as we go, passing spark to spark to spark from person to person to person. And so I guess with this new year and this new decade and this new month, because here we are just on the 5th of January, I'd love for you to either write down or make a commitment to you and your heart about what are you going to do in the coming weeks, until our next reconnection call in February. So in the next 4 weeks, that's really going to be about finding time for you, and fueling you and sharing that with others, I guess. I'd love, if you want to send us an email, send us a message and let us know what sparks you and how you're going to actually pass that on. So for me, I'm going to finish off today. It feels very weird to just be doing this by myself and talking, but Lee just did a wonderful thing for us, and I wanted to really thank you for spending time with me today and with Lee. And know that whenever you need, as I said, we record these messages and they go on our website. So whenever you need this dose, it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the month, right? Sometimes we just need time to connect to ourselves, that you can, whenever you need to, come and record find these recordings on our website. And as we usually do, I'm going to finish with a card. For those of you who have spent time with Finding Our Way, we have cards that we pull. And we have clarity, energy, action, and integration are the 4 kind of cornerstones of our work. And today I've actually just chosen the energy cards, so just the red ones. I feel this finding our spark, yes, leads to the action, but actually we need to have the energy to be able to go out and do that stuff. And as Lee said in her lovely reflection, it's about knowing why we're doing that too, and then finding that kind of the energy to go out and create that. So I'm just going to sit here, shuffle the cards up, and then pull a card for us to reflect on as we go into the coming days and weeks and months of 2020. And here we are, vibrancy. So that spark, that vibrancy, how are we finding time to get that full heart, that full energy that we can go out in the world and share with others? So thank you for your time this month. Thank you for making time for you. And we hope to see you on the next reconnection call in February. All the best. Thank you.